So, will it be Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania, or will it be Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania? This March 6, 2026 edition of SmackDown, we find out. Speaking of, Randy Orton starts the top of the show reminiscing about the past, mainly about all of his WrestleMania appearances. He says, I believe he says this is going to be his 20th, or he's been to 20. So this is either his 20th or 21st, and he's only main evented 2. He says it doesn't matter how many championships you've won, how many records you hold in WWE, how long you've been here. It doesn't matter. You're not guaranteed to be the main event of WrestleMania. You're not even guaranteed to be at WrestleMania. And of course, he goes on to say that regardless whoever he faces, Drew or Cody, he will win and become the 15-time world champion. And right after this, he gets interrupted by Trick Williams. I'm so happy they're putting Trick Williams this high in the card. He deserves it. Charismatic, great in the ring. Love seeing it here. Trick comes out and says he should be the one main eventing WrestleMania, not Randy Orton. And Randy Orton doesn't take very kindly to this. He RKO's him, and that is how we kick off this edition of SmackDown. Next, in the backstage area, we get Carmelo Hayes, United States Champion Carmelo Hayes, and General Manager Nick Aldis. They're in the back, and Aldis is basically telling Carmelo he's done a great job as the United States Champion. He's loved the open challenge so far, and tonight he has handpicked Carmelo Hayes' opponent for the United States Championship. Carmelo Hayes is like, well, who is it? No, never mind. Keep it a surprise. I'll wait till I get out there. And to represent AAA, we have the Latin American champion, El Hijo del, I almost said Vikingo, Dr. Wagner Jr. And Dr. Wagner Jr. comes out of the gate hot in this match. I thought this match was going to be amazing. Unfortunately, it kind of flounders after this opening. Carmelo Hayes is able to hit a first 48 off of the top rope. I'm trying to remember. I believe Dr. Wagner Jr. jumps off. He hits him with the first 48. Goes to pin him. And Dr. Wagner Jr. does the weakest kick out I think I've ever seen in my entire life. And I don't know if he got the wind knocked out of him or something, but it kind of looked like he didn't kick out, because I don't think that was the planned end of the match. But it was so weak. I don't even know if his shoulder got off the ground, to be honest with you. To end the match, we get a missed moonsault by Dr. Wagner Jr. He lands right on the canvas, stands up in position for nothing but net by Carmelo Hayes, and Carmelo Hayes retains. He is still our United States champion. And I want to say this was a good match, but it kind of wasn't. It started off hot, then it really slowed down. That kick out, once again, really weak. And the win almost seems kind of out of nowhere with the nothing but net. I know that's like one of Carmelo's moves, but I don't know. This one didn't scratch that itch for me, you know what I mean? By all means, not a bad match. Just it was alright. It was alright. That's as much as I'm willing to give it. Ilja speaks in an interview about not taking Carmelo Hayes' challenges for the United States Championship. He goes on to explain how his mother was a fighter, and until he can reach that status of being a fighter like his mother is, he can't go for the United States Championship. He is not worthy enough to challenge for it. The Miz pops in. He basically says, back in my day, you took every chance you could get, because if you didn't take it, you were not getting another one. And honestly, The Miz is kind of right here. I understand what Ilja was saying, that he doesn't feel worthy enough and all this. But dude, somebody's giving you a shot. You take it. You take every shot you can. You miss all the shots you don't take. Remember that one, kids. And then Kit Wilson pops in. And he basically, does his shtick, calls them both toxic. Ilja insinuates that he's going to be fighting somebody, whether that be The Miz or Kit Wilson. We don't know. Ilja walks off screen, and The Miz then insinuates even further that it'll probably be Kit Wilson versus Ilja Dragunov. Damian Priest is in the backstage area as well, and he's trying to find himself as he is lost among the shuffle in the mid-card division. He doesn't know what to do, and he's talking to Nick Aldis, and Nick Aldis is like, he didn't tell you have a match tonight? And Damian Priest is like, who is he? R-Truth shows up, and it is told to us that they are part of the number one contenders match for the WWE Tag Team titles, which is a Tag Team Turmoil match. Once we get this, Drew pops in, is face-to-face with Nick Aldis, and he's basically explaining what we're all wondering. Cody was not supposed to have another rematch because he lost to Drew McIntyre in the 3 Stages of Hell match. And Nick Aldis tells him, you told me you'd leave Cody alone. You told me you just let things fall as they lay. Whatever happens is what happens. You went against your word, I went against mine. Cody can have his rematch, even though he didn't win the Elimination Chamber or the Royal Rumble. So I'm glad they took the time to explain this here. He's the general manager. He can kind of just do what he wants. It's not like he signed a contract saying that Cody Rhodes could not face for the title. It was a word-to-word, he said, she said, they said explanation. The Irresistible Forces come out to the ring for their big celebration for winning the Women's Tag Team Championships. That is until Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss come out to the ring. They say they are first in line for the tag team titles, and the only reason the Irresistible Forces are holding the titles right now is because they have been interfering in all the matches of Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss when they were champions. Then Kiana James and Giulia come out saying they should be the first ones to be given a shot at the titles because Kiana James pinned Charlotte Flair in her triple threat match qualifying for the Elimination Chamber, and Giulia pinned Alexa Bliss in the Elimination Chamber. I think this was a fantastic way to book this because they're right. The only reason the Irresistible Forces are champs is basically because they've just completely ransacked the entire division as best they could, interfering in matches and such. Kiana James and Giulia pinning both Charlotte and Alexa Bliss in their own respective matches. Perfect. And then there's like that slight dissension between Charlotte and Alexa. I feel like this triangle feud between these 3 teams is being written very well so far. And of course, these teams can't figure out who should be the number one contender for the titles. So Nick Aldis comes out, says it's going to be Kiana James and Giulia versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. And if I remember right, I might not be, but I'm pretty sure, I'm like 99.9% sure, he did not say it was a number one contenders match. Usually, they'll put up a graphic that says that as well, if it's that kind of match. There was no graphic whatsoever. I want to make that very clear. It's a lot of back and forth. There is this one weird spot where Charlotte hits Kiana James, and they both like do the old Ric Flair spot where he kind of like stumbles a little bit and then falls. The way they did it was kind of awkward. I'm sure it's not the way they intended it to be, but it didn't hit. In this entire match, they're all fantastic wrestlers, don't get me wrong, but they did not have the chemistry this night. This match was not going well. It's not a horrible match. It's not a horrible match, but it's like our first match. It's an all right match. And then once again, we get another horrible kick out in this match. I believe it was Charlotte pinning Kiana James, and once again, she barely gets her shoulder off the mat. I don't even think she lifted her arms at all. It was a horrible, horrible, horrible kick out. And of course, eventually, Charlotte and Alexa win. And I want to say it was Wade Barrett that said now they're the number one contenders or they're primed to be or whatever. Like I said, This was not a number one contenders match. Nobody said it was number one contenders match. Now all of a sudden they're like number one contenders. I don't, maybe I missed it. Maybe I'm just stupid, but I'm pretty sure they're not the number one contenders. They just beat Kiana, James, and Giulia. We get a quick glimpse of Jelly Roll, who says he will be there on Friday Night SmackDown next week. So tune in next week to see Jelly Roll, to see what he is going to be doing at WrestleMania. Probably jumping off the top rope and making Santi Zap oil up. That is such a crazy sentence. And right after this, Cody Rhodes is being interviewed, and he is like, I'm going to win tonight so I can go on to WrestleMania main event and retain the championship. Sami Zayn says that the match tonight is absolutely crazy, the fact that it's even happening. And he says that the loss he took in their Elimination Chamber qualifying match, he has forgiven him for. He's over it. It's in the past. It is what it is. Or that's just what he's saying. And he keeps looking around. He's like, Cody's getting all these chances. Jacob is still hanging around. He's lurking in the shadows. It seems like everybody's getting chances except Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn's always doing the right thing, always doing the good thing, but he's never getting any chances. And Cody's just like, so what do you want? What do you want, Sami? I don't know what do you want? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to prove? And honestly, Sami Zayn is just lost. He doesn't know if he should be good anymore. He doesn't know if he should start doing the wrong thing to propel his career, or should he just stick to being good old underdog Sami Zayn that nobody really wants to see on their TV screens anymore? Probably not. But once again, he freaks out, slaps some water bottles, and you can tell he's deep in his mind. He is listening to some voices. Next match of the night is the tag team turmoil match with the, let me see if I can get them all, Motor City Machine Guns, Los Garzas, Fraxiom, the Wyatt Six, and Damian Priest and R-Truth. I got them all. I'm not going to do like a beat-by-beat thing because there's a lot that happens between these quote-unquote 5 matches, right? So we start off with the Motor City Machine Guns and Fraxiom. They set the pace for this entire thing. Of course, they're the 2 fastest tag teams, I think, in the entire company, and they get the pace going. The Motor City Machine Guns are eliminated, but unrightfully so. Alex Shelley, I believe, was the one being pinned. His partner went to go put his leg up on the top, or up on the rope, to break up the count, but the ref didn't see it, and Nathan Frazier also pushed his leg off. So technically, their elimination shouldn't have happened because he did get his foot on the rope because of his partner, but he didn't see it, so Motor City Machine Guns are out. And I like the way they played it off, because for a second there, I thought it was a botch. I thought they botched it, but they didn't. They got it. They got exactly what they wanted, the reaction they exactly wanted. Next is Los Garzas, and they pretty much make handiwork of Fraxiom. I think their like little match in this turmoil match, it felt like maybe 3 minutes, maybe 5 at the most, but it was really short. They, like, the Motor City Machine Guns basically beat the crap out of Fraxiom. Los Garzas came in and just took him out. That's basically what happened. And the next is the Wyatt Six. And I hate to say this, but this is where the match lost all its momentum that was built up from Motor City Machine Guns, Fraxiom, and Los Garzas. And it's mainly due to Dexter Lumis. Joe Gacy, he's the fast guy. He can move fast. Los Garzas, they can move fast. But Dexter Lumis, the way he wrestles, just shut the whole show down. It slowed everything down. And Tongaloa, he gets involved. He pushes, or he pulls on Joe Gacy's leg, if I remember right. Los Garzas are able to take over, eliminating the Wyatt Six from this tag team turmoil match. As Damian Priest and R-Truth are coming out, the Wyatt Six and the MFTs are brawling up the ramp as Damian Priest and R-Truth. So they're kind of having to like maneuver around him and everything just to get inside the ring. Thankfully for us, Damian Priest and R-Truth and Los Garzas pick this match back up. They go for, I wouldn't say as fast a pace as the Fraxiom Motor City Machine Gun beginning, but it did pick up a lot of the pace. We got Ron Cena. He hit the 5 moves of doom. To finish off the match, we get a South of Heaven choke slam from Damian Priest and an AA from R-Truth onto Los Garzas. And surprisingly, Damian Priest and R-Truth are our number 1 contenders for the WWE Tag Team Championships. I don't know how to feel about it. Their tag team kind of reminds me of Goldust and Booker T back in the day, except like the roles are reversed. You know, R-Truth is our comedy guy and Damian Priest is our straight man. I don't know how I feel about this, because it seems like with the MFTs, they want to go a very serious direction. With the Wyatt 6, they want to go for a more horror-themed seriousness, and I don't know how that's going to gel with Damian Priest, who's like 70% serious, 30% comedy. I don't know how that's going to flow, but I'm looking forward to seeing whoever the MFTs put up against Damian Priest and R-Truth. Back in the backstage area, Randy Orton runs into Sami Zayn, and Sami Zayn is so confused at how Cody Rhodes could just turn on somebody like he did to Sami. And he asks Randy, how do you turn on Cody Rhodes even though you have such high respect for him? You see him in high esteem. Randy Orton says, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. Sometimes you have to be selfish. You have to do what's good for you and not good for everyone else. And I kind of hinted at this at the beginning of this video, but Randy Orton explicitly tells Sami, sometimes you gotta listen to those voices in your head. And then Randy walks off. Karrion Kross 2.0 walks in the frame. I don't care. I don't care about Karrion Kross 2.0. Give me Karrion Kross 1.0 back. Maybe, I'll probably care. Karrion Kross 2.0, don't care at all. Get him off my screen, please. Rhea Ripley comes out to the ring. Jade Cargill comes out to the ring. Jade first she shakes her hand and then explains that, like, I respect you because you've built your body to be the woman that you are. You know, you're amazing in the ring. You have a great physique. But my physique, Jade is saying this, is better, is more powerful. You can't even compete with it. Rhea Ripley extends her hand to Jade Cargill. Jade, once again, they both shake hands. And Rhea Ripley says, your physique is made for showmanship. It's made to look good. It's not made to be a wrestler. It's not made to survive the wrestling business. And in a way, I liked it because I get what they're going for, but I also didn't because it just kind of reminds me of Scott Steiner and Triple H doing their weird, like, muscle man routine in the middle of the ring. Like, I don't know who that was for, but that was dumb back in the day. Here, it's just kind of posturing. It's posturing is all. And I get wrestling is just a lot of the time posturing. But this was just really weird in a way because they're just talking about each other's physiques and everything. And I get it. They're supposed to be like some of, if not the 2 most powerful women in all of WWE. I hope next week we can do it a lot better, please. I would like that. In the backstage area, we get Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae. Johnny Gargano is still out of it, completely out of it. One of the Motor City Machine Gun guys is like, hey, Johnny, you can do this. You can do this. And his partner comes out and is like, how come you didn't put my foot on the rope? And he's like, I did. They walk off screen fighting, so there's some dissension amongst the Motor City Machine Guns. Candice LeRae is like, Johnny, you are Johnny Wrestling. You know who you are. You know what you can do. Let's get it together. And Johnny Gargano finally wakes up. And he's like, I'm going to the ring. We come back from commercial break. And Johnny Gargano is giving an open challenge to anyone in the backstage area who wants to fight him. anybody. And Oba Femi answers the call. They get a real good shot of Johnny Gargano just looking absolutely defeated as Oba Femi's music hits. It was just perfect. And of course, Oba Femi just absolutely demolishes Johnny Gargano, and Johnny Gargano goes back into his almost comatose-like state, laying on the ring mat. And they get a great, it might be the thumbnail of this video, but they get a great picture of Oba Femi doing his stance and Johnny Gargano just planking on the ring apron. It was perfect. We get a brief promo from Uncle Howdy saying, "Hey, I want my lantern back from the MFTs. This is still continuing." Not much to say here. We get Jade, Cargill, Michin, and B-Fab in the backstage area, and Michin still wants to fight Jade Cargill. Of course, Jade Cargill has only had one defense in, I don't even know how long it's been now, like 120 days or something like that. And Jade looks at Michin and says, "See you next week." So I'm assuming next week we're going to get Jade Cargill versus Michin, hopefully for the championships. That way we can at least get 2 defenses before WrestleMania. That would be nice. Even though we know Jade is not going to lose, it would still be nice for her to have a match. That's all we're asking for, WWE. Danhausen makes his official SmackDown debut talking to Nick Aldis, and he has his, what did he call it? Demandhausens, I think is what it was. He wants to be put in the WWE Hall of Fame, and Nick Aldis basically cuts him off almost entirely, and he's just like, "Oh, have you met The Miz, Danhausen?" And he looks, or no, that's not how it happens. Nick Aldis sees The Miz, and The Miz is like, or he goes to The Miz, and he's like, "Don't you want to mentor somebody like you did Carmelo Hayes and people before him?" And he's like, "Of course I do." And he's like, "Well, have you met Danhausen?" And The Miz wants nothing to do with Danhausen. Danhausen goes, "You will mentor me or you are cursed." And before The Miz can say anything, Danhausen disappears into thin air. I wasn't a fan of the whole Elimination Chamber thing where Danhausen debuted, but this Raw and SmackDown thing they're doing with him so far, perfect. The best way you could have used Danhausen ever. Next, we have our main event of the night for the WWE Championship, Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes. Cody makes his entrance. He's in the ring. Drew McIntyre makes his entrance. They do the whole spiel. Drew McIntyre rolls out of the ring, starts walking up towards the ramp, and Cody Rhodes goes after him. They start beating each other. He throws him into the big LED wall that they come out of up at the beginning of the ramp. They work their way, beating each other down the ramp into the ring. Cody Rhodes takes up the majority of the offense of the beginning of this match. Drew's able to take over back outside of the ring. He hits Cody into the ring post when they're on the steel steps. He picks him up for a sidewalk slam onto the side apron of the ring. And then from here, they go once again to the outside of the ring. He starts slamming Cody's arm into the ring post, into everything he absolutely can, and he works this arm for the majority of the rest of this match. There is a spot where they once again go to the outside of the ring once again, and they get up onto the announcer's table. Cody Rhodes goes for a crossroads on it, but Drew is able to escape, and by escaping it, he accidentally, I'm assuming accidentally, collapses the announce table. I'm assuming that wasn't supposed to happen. That really sucked it happened. I'm not going to fault them or this match for that. Accidents happen like that. But it really just sucks that that happened. Even though it did, Cody Rhodes is able to get his composure back and everything. Goes to the ring, pulls out a nice wooden Slim Jim table for us that he eventually gets powerbombed through by Drew McIntyre. And I also, once again, I might have missed it. I might just be stupid. But I don't remember them ever saying that this was a no disqualification match for the championship. So, like, there was multiple times where they're outside of the ring. Should have easily been a 10 count. Easily. And then Drew puts Cody through the table. That should have been a disqualification. So, I'm assuming I missed it. I'm just going to assume I missed it, but I don't remember them saying it was a no disqualification match or it was a street fight or whatever stupid label WWE wants to put on it. There's a moment in the match where Drew McIntyre hits Cody Rhodes with the crossroads, only gets a 2 count. Not too long after this, Cody Rhodes is able to hit Drew McIntyre with a Claymore, only getting a 2 count. The ref almost dies twice in this match until he is eventually hit with a Cody cutter accidentally because Drew McIntyre grabs Charles Robinson and pulls him in the way of Cody Rhodes' disaster kick. This leads into a spot where Cody Rhodes counters one of Drew McIntyre's moves beautifully right into a crossroads. Another ref comes down and Drew McIntyre intimidates this ref beyond belief until he just eventually hits him with a headbutt. So that's 2 refs down. Drew McIntyre is beyond belief mad. He goes back to the outside of the ring, grabs a steel chair, goes to use it on Cody Rhodes, and Jacob Fatu is able to stop him, pulling the chair away from him. It's enough to distract Drew. Cody is the new WWE champion and will be main eventing WrestleMania alongside Randy Orton. I don't know how I feel about Cody winning. I'm not mad. I'm not happy. I'm kind of just indifferent. I think I would have preferred Drew versus Randy, but if we're going like Randy heel turn at Mania, or if we're going multi-man match at Mania, I guess it makes more sense for Cody to win in order to get him into the match. Because if we're going multi-man, we have Randy, we have Cody, guaranteed. Drew can say, well, I got screwed out of my title win because of Jacob Fatu. That brings Jacob Fatu in. And shoot, put Sami Zayn in there, I guess, because he's been like encircling these guys for the past few weeks. So it would kind of make sense to put him in as well. Overall, I think this was an alright SmackDown. I would say there's more things I liked than I hated. So for that fact alone, I'm going to give it 3 stars out of 5, just above an average SmackDown. Anyways, that is my review of the March 6, 2026 edition of SmackDown. Let me know in the comments below, what did you think about this SmackDown? What do you think about Cody main eventing WrestleMania alongside Randy Orton, along with everything else that's going on SmackDown? Damian Priest and R-Truth being #1 contenders. Sami Zayn. Are you sick of the Wyatt 6 and the MFTs? Let me know down in those comments below. And while you're down there, if you've watched this long, you might as well hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, the subscribe, and the notification bell so you can see every single time that this channel uploads. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you again next time.